I had my interview with Chris Matthew on the Forbidden Knowledge News Network yesterday. And something I had mentioned that I want to talk about a little bit is anger. I have a lot of anger inside of me for a lot of reasons. And I think societally, there's an effort to minimize male anger because it can be scary. But that's the wrong approach. We should be facing it head on and trying to understand it so we can address it. And to be fair, anger is not a male-dominated emotion. I have a lot of female friends who are very angry right now, which, that's the more crux of the video is, shout out to my fellow healer friends, because for the last few years, while we've been inundated with propaganda and bullshit and depression, the psychological warfare, psychological damage that all of this has caused has led a lot of people to cope in a lot of ways. So a lot of our healer friends have been put in an environment where they're needing to cope with a significant amount of psychological and physiological stress, and then they're expected to go perform at work. Whether that be, I'm a massage therapist, so I have a lot of compassion for other massage therapists because I know truly how fucking hard that job is. To be a good massage therapist, you have to invest so much, and it's very difficult. And so if you personally are ever wondering why it's difficult to find a quality, affordable massage therapist, that's why. Because it is a very hard job. But in general, to be a good healer requires you to give a lot of yourself. So whether that's a psychologist, they're healers, or whether that's, a doctor, maybe, a Western doctor, people who are truly drawn to help others take on a burden. It is a burden. It's a burden in the best of circumstances, but it is exponentially compounded in its difficulty by the spiritual war. But that's why many of us were called to our healing passions and professions, was because we saw the spiritual war. And we saw that we have gifts that we can offer the world. I'm a really good massage therapist. And I finally met another massage therapist that I click with. And it sucks because I'm moving right after I met them, but she is fantastic. I've always said, I wish I could massage myself, because I just know the spots and the depth and the range of motion assessments and the activations. And I have such an amazing connection. It's an intuitive connection. I joke that it's a skill that I've cultivated from a young age in knowing that I'm needed to manage tension, physical and mental tension, growing up in an extraordinarily stressful environment. And that has translated into my ability to physically feel the world in an empathic and tangible way. And I translate that into my healing practice. And so does this other massage therapist I met. And I was just blown away. She did just about everything that I would have done. My only complaint is that we didn't have enough time, but that's always the complaint with a good massage. I'm currently not practicing because if you've watched any of my videos, you'll know that I'm kind of just going through a massive whatever. I don't even know anymore, but I call it a death and rebirth. And I'm almost done, I feel like. I had to kill the old me. I had to explore the ashes of the old me to understand, to build the blueprint for the reconstruction of the new me. And a lot of us have been going through this. And a lot of us have been going through an awakening journey. There's a very poignant expression that comes to mind when I think about the last few years. It is no measure of good health to be well adjusted in a profoundly sick society. And I believe that our society is profoundly sick. I do not believe it is beyond salvation or recovery, though. It's part of the cycle of the universe, of dark and light. We've been in an age of darkness. But there are things that you can learn when you're shrouded in darkness. Carl Jung comes to mind and his pioneering of the exploration of the unconscious, which can be seen as the dark parts of yourself. And the more that you can illuminate those components of your psyche, the more awake and aware you can become. The same can be said for a society. He talks about the collective unconscious. And I believe he was really onto something, and I'm wanting to help continue his work. In my healing passion, I want to contribute to the healing of the collective unconscious, and we're doing it, and we're making strides, and we're making progress. Great work, you all. Good job, everyone. If you're watching this and you think that massage therapy might be like a bougie thing, I can understand why, because a good massage therapist, they charge a lot of money, which is something that I understand, but I struggle with because I dislike that money is a barrier to entry for someone's health. However, I can tell you that 30 minutes invested in a yoga practice 5 days a week will do so much more than $150 for an hour and a half massage will. So I implore you to focus on your big rocks first. What do I mean by that? YouTube, Big Rocks motivational speech. It is the greatest little 5-minute video to teach you how to construct your life. Yoga is a big rock. It should be a pillar in your life. Massage therapy, physical therapy, that's like the medium rocks, and that's the sand, that's the filler. You shouldn't be prioritizing external outputs or external inputs. You should be prioritizing internal inputs, things you can do yourself. I'm speaking from experience. Because I am a hypocrite. Although I'm less of a hypocrite because I do yoga now. Let's wrap this up. I just want to give a shout out and some love to all my healer friends who have been out there just spitting truth, sharing their love, sharing their light, just doing whatever they can to not let the dark forces win. It's been insanely dark for the last few years. No exaggeration, no hyperbole. You're not crazy if you felt that way. You're right on track, you're right on path. The Great Awakening is upon us. I love you all. Much love.